our event. But I mean, his name sounds like a Japanese, but no, he's from Palau. Yeah, let's welcome Taka. Oh, you want a hand? You want a
Oh, you can come through the same. Thank you. Nice. Cool. Alright, hi. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a good day. Everyone is. I want to say that this was prepared by our ambassador. I was able to contact our embassy and borrow the presentation. However, I did add a lot more slides to make it a little bit more relatable to tonight's event. Oh yeah, my name is Taami Agita. Though I am from Palau, my name is Japanese. My grandfather is Japanese, so that's why it does sound Japanese. And yeah, let's begin. So for tonight, we're just gonna go through the geography of Palau, just a quick song about it, and then our education, culture, and food, and then we're gonna talk about this marine sanctuary, the Palau Pledge, later, which I think is pretty interesting, and then just the diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Sorry. Cool. Okay, so about the geography, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to the first slide, but this is the slide I wanted to show. Palau is a very, very small country, as you can see. So on you guys' left side, my far right, our country is just about 259 square kilometers, and we have less than 20,000 people. Last I checked the census, I believe we have about 18,000 people, and as compared to Taiwan, Taiwan is 36,190 square kilometers worth of landmass, and you guys have about 20 million people, which is like 10 times more than my country. We could probably move everyone here and just put them in Taipei City, and it wouldn't even be that much of a problem. And just looking at the map, in Palau we have 16 states, and I say states and not cities because if you think about Palau, you want to compare it to like the United States of America in this sense, right? Not in the size. It's just we go by states starting from all the way up in the north. We have Kaya, which is separated by the ocean. There's no way to get there by car. You need to go by boat. And then you have all these states here which are connected by land. And then right over here between Airai and Koror, there's a bridge that connects these two places. So you can start from here and then go all the way up north and then back. Going by car, that would only take about 2 hours. I've done it before, me and my friends, we do that almost every day back home. And then if you go towards the south, there's 4 more states, which is Peleliu, Angar, Sonsoral, and Hatole. Those places are also separated by the ocean, so you just have to go by boat. You can't take anything else. To Angar, though, you can take a plane. There was a runway built there back in the Second World War. You can take a plane from Koror and fly down there, but not a lot of people use that, as traveling by boat is much more convenient and cheap. Here are the 16 states, and I'm from the state of Malaya, which is up here, and then I'm also from SR and Maya, which is on this third row. These flags, they all have their own meaning, so for this guy, I will talk about Malaya, which is where I like to claim I'm from. I'm from there from my mother's side, and this flag has a really nice meaning. So the bird in the middle, in our language, we call it dalaro, which is like money bird. And that little circle thing that's like hanging off its beak, that's the money. It signifies like wealth. And then that circle that's like going around the bird, we'd say that's the sun. This state is like on the east, so if you're there, you can catch the best sunrise ever. Like, I will not lie to you guys. I wish I was photogenic and took a lot of pictures so I could show, but literally there's a hotel there that's called Sunrise Hotel, just because the sunrise is so nice back there. And then there are 2 colors, and if you would count them, there would be like 6 ways that it is segmented, and it represents like the hamlets inside that state. So that's the meaning of our flag. And one thing I wanted to show about Palau is, though it is very small, there is one cool thing that I wanted to show, which is Helen's Reef. Do we have anybody from Indonesia here? Have you guys ever heard about Palau prior to this? No? Cool. Well, we're a lot closer than you guys think, so I'm gonna move here. So here's Indonesia, and then Palau is up here. And like Taiwan would be like somewhere up here. I believe it's that right there. Right. So we're like 3 hours away from Taiwan, and then we're pretty close to Indonesia. And why I wanted to bring it up. So one state that I mentioned, which was Hattahove, it's a southwestern state that's like 700 kilometers away from Koror. And it claims this little reef right here called Helen's Reef. Helen's Reef is an uncultivated, uninhabited island. And before, I mean completely no ill feelings to Indonesians. We used to have sort of problems with each other to claim this little island right here. But in the end of the day, like, Palau eventually won this, and Hattahove claims this territory. So to this day, it's still uninhabited. However, there are rangers that go back and forth. So usually there's 3 or 4 that would come here and just make sure that it is completely untouched. And they would switch every quarter. And when I was back home, I believe that usually they would pair like couples. So then when they go there, they're not alone. And then they just stay here. And they would switch every quarter. Alright, so after that, let's go into the education. So on our 6th article of the Constitution, Palau does mandate a provision of free and compulsory education for citizens. And in Palau, there are 17 public elementary schools and 2 private elementary schools. And for high schools, we have 1 public high school. That would be the guys in blue. This is called Palau Public High School, or PHS. And then we have about 4 private high schools. And this one in the middle, these guys are actually my classmates. And I'm surprised because this was prepared by the ambassador I found. This is my French teacher, and I don't know when this picture was taken. Yes, I wasn't there. Yeah, we follow the U.S. system of education. So we just have elementary, high school, and then go on to college. We only have 1 college anyways, too. So that's why a lot of us tend to fly out, go to universities abroad. And then, yeah, how the education is, not so well. Oh, and this is a nice song. I've heard this song prior to this. It's called Belau My Island. So Belau is the Palau name for Palau. And this song was written by a famous artist. His name is Johnny B. And I'm wondering how to play this. I hope it plays. Oh, I do not know what I just did. 1 second. Alright, hello again. So that song was just it was just a nice little song to just depict how Palau see their island. We like to see our island as like a really beautiful gem, something to be, like protected. We're not really technologically advanced as Taiwan, so we focus a lot on culture. And with that, we're gonna get into culture. Before I move on, I would like to point these two pictures out. So up top, these guys are wearing the Palawan men's traditional wear, which is called nusa. I have one in my bag. It's not as cool as you think. It's just a red cloth. This could probably be a table cover, but you wrap it around your private areas, and it's kind of like a sumo wrestler kind of outfit. And then this was literally like the outfit for Palawan men back in the day. But nowadays everybody wears stuff like this, shirt, pants. Yeah. And then for women, they have this outfit right here, and I forgot what the skirt is called. I actually don't think they have a name in Palawan, but the bra, we call it like pilatu. It's just like to cover up. And their dances that they're doing here, I believe these women, they're doing what they call tulalangoy. In English, it would be like mother of dances. And for these guys, they're doing group, which is a war dance. Pretty much that's the only dance that men do. So back home, we're a matrilineal society, so we place a lot of emphasis on women. They are our leaders, so we like to say that men, they're the arms and the feet of the family, and the women are the head of the family. And even today, we see it in our traditions, especially in funerals, marriages, inheritance, and passing of traditional titles. Those are all in charge of the women, like where someone is going to be buried, where someone's funeral would be held, who gets whose title, stuff like that. And as I mentioned, our language is Palauan, and it was derived from an Austronesian language. And even though Palawan is our main language, English is our secondary language, and all our courses are taught in English. So I believe that Palawan is being lost in today's world for the generation after me. It's kind of hard to find that. And just like Taiwanese people, the people of Palau are also friendly and generous subject. Palauans, not Taiwanese people, are very nice. And then culture and food. So Palawan traditional cuisines mainly consist of root crops and seafood. So we have stuff like taro, which is right there, and then on the far left, that's what we call a masay, which is a taro patch. It's different from like a farm because it's mainly like, I've never worked there, but usually like these have, it's literally an irrigation system where water runs through it. And all you do is you go and you just have to clean it up, and then you get taro from it. And then obviously you have our fish, and here are some fruits as well. Yeah, so we're surrounded by a big ocean. We're an island, so that's why we love our seafood. Cool. So this PNMS, which is our Palau National Marine Sanctuary, this thing was took effect on January 1st, 2020. The reason why this is something that I wanted to add was it closes off 80% of Palau's EEZs, the exclusive economic zones, and in terms of distance, it covers 475 square kilometers. So right here, it starts all the way from right here. This is the congestion of states that I showed you guys, from Coro all the way up to Ngar alone. And then you have Kayang somewhere up here, and then it goes all the way down to Hatohove, which is super close to Indonesia. And then the remaining 20%, that's the only thing that's open for everyone to go and be able to have any sort of fishing activity, even us locals. We do this because we want to protect the marine life and try to ensure a future for the marine life where even the next generation of Palauans can still have fish to catch. And then this is called the Palau Pledge. It's a passport pledge that was created by children of Palau. And what it is really, it's just for visitors that when they enter, they must sign it, and they just have to take accountability for acting ecologically and culturally responsible. So right here, it's like if you were to visit and then you go through Palau, you would pretty much promise all that the only things that you leave behind are footprints, which is kind of just like pointing towards please don't litter, please don't break things, don't do anything to hurt the ecosystem. That's basically what this was. There's also a local version which I remember taking when I was in high school. And then diplomatic relations with Taiwan. So Palau and Taiwan, we've had strong economic and political relations since 1994. Palau really does trust in Taiwan and their government. One thing that I personally like is since 2008, we've been referring many patients here to seek for medical care. I mean, I've had a lot of relatives who come here, especially for cancer cases, because we don't have anything back home for that. For example, I've had uncles, aunts, even my father, and I think Taiwan really does have a good medical care system. And another thing is a lot of hotels in Palau, they're invested by Taiwanese people. So, for example, I know that the Okura Nikko Hotels is a Japanese-based hotel. However, there is one here in Taiwan, and I think these guys, they're the ones who invested into this hotel, which is in Palau, called the Palau Royal Resort, or PRR. So, this hotel right here, these two pictures, this is PRR back home. And that one on the far left is the one that is stationed here in Taiwan. I believe it's in Zhongshan district in Taipei. So yeah, I remember that when my dad was still here, he was able to find like neo ramen in PRR, and that was my first time trying it out, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I never knew until I came here and he told me about it. And then I actually had some actual local neo ramen, and that's gotta be my favorite food for me. I think that's it for me. Yeah, any questions? I apologize. I don't do well in presentations, but
I want to ask about the history of your country. So, how is your country formed? And then, is there any influence from other countries to be, to encourage your people to be an independent country?
We've got a pretty long history of like being under certain countries. So, dating way back from the first people that found us, it was actually like a ship. It was a ship by Captain Wilson, who's from, I believe, England, and he actually shipwrecked in Udon Island, and then they found him, and then from there, that's where the Spanish people found us. But before them, it was the Germans, and then the Spanish people found us. And after that, when the Spanish began to lose power, they sold us off to the Japanese people, and then they had us all the way up towards World War II, and then after that, we were supposed to be freed by the Americans. Don't take my word for that, but America saved the world, and then we were supposed to be free. Our independence started in 1994, October 1st. We drew up our own constitution, and then we also have something called COFA, which is it's an agreement between us and the United States where basically we allow each other to go between each other's countries, so it's visa rights. And then Palau just gives them military rights to have their military station in our country. So yeah, that's why our English is, I guess, pretty dominant back home, because we use it in our education system. It's seen in like common households. And I think that's why we're losing our language. Yeah.
Now, I would like to ask about the economy. How's the economy there? Is it distributed evenly? Because you mentioned that your place, the country itself is quite small, and there is no many people there. And how is the gap between the rich and poor?
How's the gap? Okay, so our economy mainly focuses on tourism, right? So we're not as technologically advanced, and sadly, we also don't have many natural resources like other countries. So we can't do a lot of trade. So we focus a lot on tourism. other than that, as I mentioned, the COFA agreement. With that agreement between Palau and the United States, we basically we get a certain amount of money from the United States, and that's mainly what covers our government revenue. And yeah, I really just think tourism is probably the biggest part. There is nothing that Palau really can trade on for economy. Nothing big.
So what do your people do for a living other than being in the tourism industry?
What do we do for a living? I mean, what would you say? Like working or hobbies? Like in what aspect?
Like, I mean, for us in Asian countries, we work, we make money, so we buy stuff. Yeah. So, and do you guys over there also like work in different kind of companies?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, back home we definitely, we've got jobs. You know, like, I mean, we're not just fishermen. Yeah. Not everybody just fishes for. I mean, there are fishermen who would do that as their main source of income, right? But a lot of people find jobs, whether it's from bigger companies that station themselves there, or companies that already exist, like local companies. And other people just fly out and live abroad.
Because I thought your people should be able to sustain your living by doing like, you know, you have your land, you have your sea, and so on. You can support your own life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're referring to living a life of agriculture and I guess hunting, I don't think that's possible in today's world, even back home for us, you know, because we are engaged with many other countries. Like, despite us not having many natural resources, we still have stuff like diplomatic relations that we need to take care of. And with diplomatic relations comes economic ties as well, you know. And it's hard for me to say what exactly everyone does because it just varies. Everybody has different jobs. A lot of people would even move, say, to Taiwan or the United States, but still have stuff to do back home, right? When I say stuff, I mean like family sort of responsibilities. Just come funerals or come like birth ceremonies. All these things involve money. Yeah.
So if we go to visit your country, what would you recommend as a souvenir to bring home?
What would I recommend?
From Bala.
Man, okay. In terms of souvenirs, definitely you would want to go out to beaches and stuff. You could find like, I don't know, maybe like shells, maybe you'd like to see fish, or maybe you can even go to gift shops where there's like, man, I wish I had stuff from back home. There, we also have a lot of like decorations from back home, woven stuff as well. So back home people wove things. Man, I really should have added that. I believe it's not in any of these pictures. Like, just if you see stuff like this, just imagine like cool little, like you can say decoration, or even just like a water bottle casing. Like for example, maybe that cup right there. Like there would be people who know how to wove like coconut leaves into its case, and then you could like throw it under your cup, and then it would be like a really cool souvenir. But I don't think souvenirs would be your main focus. I think you guys would really want to go swimming here. Swimming is something I recommend. I miss swimming, like in the ocean, or fishing. If you're a guy who likes fishing, or a girl. Yeah. Oh, what's up?
Can you say something?
What do you want me to say?
Any,
Introduce yourself, maybe?
Introduce myself? Oh, dang. Okay. Ali, minulap sini. Nakakala, kami mga langita. Kailangan ito niya Taiwan Suba politics and economics. So what I just said was, I just said my name. So my name is, hello, good evening. My name is Takami Malaganta. I am 20 years old and I came here to learn politics and economics. Yeah, that's what I said right there.
Do you tend to like because as you say there are a lot of people do you guys tend to go back to the country after you study, or you just leave the country afterwards? Because I know the loss rate on most Oceania countries are really high.
Yeah, I understand your question. Sadly, there is not enough studies on that. You know, I'm also curious on stuff like that. Like, even after reading our census, it shows that a lot of younger people are leaving. But I can't tell you if the vast majority of us does that, because it's just a recent case study as well. However, in my opinion, yeah. I mean, if you were to ask the average Palawan who would study here, I would like 100% believe that they would say there's nothing back home. And really, it's just, if I were to try to sell my island to you guys, the idea of you guys coming over is just to see the beauty. I think that really it's just a nice tourist site to rest and relax. In terms of living there, you have to have been brought up from there. So the reason why I love my country is because even though this doesn't seem like much, to me this is everything. You know, like being able to have my own freedom here, being able to, I don't know, just go out in the open, go out and swim and fish, to me that's a lot. Because I'm still not used to like big country stuff now. So yeah, I hope that answers. I think I saw you.
Okay, so I wonder, is a Pala language is big? It's not part of the curriculum. I mean, you say that you use most English.
Yeah. So what I mean by that is classes are taught in English. However, Palawan classes are like, there are Palawan classes for language, for history. Just depends on what the teacher is going to teach, right? But like, say you're going to learn math in elementary or science or social studies, it's going to be taught in English. Yeah, that's like the mandate we have.
But is it a requirement to study Pala?
So for all the schools that I mentioned, there's only one school that I know of that does not have any Palawan classes, but I don't have a picture of them. It's called PMA, which is Public Mission Academy. This is a Seventh-day Adventist church, and they're mostly run by Americans, which I don't know why they don't have Palawan. It's definitely not some sort of bad thing, you know, it's just, I never asked them, I've never been to that school, but when I ask the students and my friends, they just say like, they don't have Palawan. But the funniest thing is, the one thing that I do kind of criticize personally, I don't have a picture either, but women, they usually have money. So the money that I mentioned, they have little necklaces, and this is given from older women in our family to the younger generation for, let's say, they just, they got through certain rituals in life, like they got to a certain age, or maybe they got married, maybe they had their first kid, and it could come from like the husband's family, from women in their family, or it could come from, say, older women in your family. But in PMA and SDA, they weren't even allowed to wear those. Like they had to like strip them off, or else they would be sent back home suspended. But I still don't know why either. Yeah. You can explain that. Okay.
So there are not so many people in Palau, so maybe you know like a lot of people like you're just walking around like is it difficult or it's more chill?
No, that's like a. You can answer that in any way you like. You know, like sometimes it is really chill. Sometimes it's like, oh man, this sucks, because you know if you mess up, everybody knows that you did something. If you did something cool, everybody knows you did something cool. But you're never really alone. Sometimes that sucks. Yeah.
This is something like related to environment things. Because, with the increasing sea levels, how do you see in like few years coming, or like few decades?
Okay, so yeah, all islands, like, believe it or not, were made up of bird poop, like literal bird poop that has been formed from thousands of years to become islands. And that's why there's that idea that islands will sink eventually. And so far, my country luckily is not in danger of sinking. The only state that is in danger is probably going to be this northernmost state, which is Guyana. They've already lost a lot of their land, and with the sea levels rising, it's taken off a couple bits